Hello everyone, my name is Paul,
My name is Danny.
And I'm Jonathan.
and we did our group project on this project question. How are different types of GitHub activities, such as number of pull requests and number of issues, correlated with user satisfaction? We thought this was an interesting question because people talk about different repos a lot in Reddit, Hacker News, Stack Overflow, and they might have an overall positive or negative sentiments, and we wanted to see how these were related with the GitHub activities. So we thought of these two hypotheses. The first one was that as the user satisfaction increases, the number of issues will also increase because as people start using it and people discuss it, it'll actually increase the number of users, which will make number of bugs found increase. The second hypothesis was that the number of pull requests is correlated with user satisfaction because these new pull requests that are merged into master, they represent bug fixes, feature additions, refactoring, which means all these things will be good for the users and it'll hopefully increase user satisfaction. So to answer this question, we wanted to we built it using first the GitHub API to get, of course, the number of issues and pull requests. We used Node.js because it was really easy to get it set up, and there was a bunch of npm modules that we actually used, which was really nice. And then in the end, we used the Bootstrap and D3 for visualizing our results. Yep. So quick start. We'll just show you guys how to get it started. It's actually really simple. So first thing you need actually is you gotta go to your GitHub settings, and then you gotta go to your applications and get a GitHub auth token to actually use the API. So we already did that. We're gonna copy this to our clipboard. Actually, we're gonna do clone first. So go here, just make some SENG371 demo, and then we're gonna git clone. Oh, I think the command's already in here. Oh, no. We're gonna git clone it like so. Yep, and the next step is installing all the npm modules. That's going. And then we're just gonna copy our auth token. Yep, that's done. So we're gonna put our auth token in the auth and auth JSON. This is where we have all the auth stuff. Oops. There. And now we should be able to run. Wait, one sec.
Alright, so we're gonna use.
Oh, it's because the other one already running?
Yeah.
Is that why? I think it's because I'm using the one. Oh.
And that's because the port's in use. That's because the other server's still using.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. It's running right now. Okay, thank you. That should work. There we go. So now if we go to port 9001, this is what the project looks like. So first you can see that there's going to be a graph here. You can enter any repo. We made it so that you can enter any repo on GitHub, and then you can see the results, which is really cool. And then we have these GitHub issues and pull requests right here, so you can select them. I'll show you later. You can take a tour to see if you're not familiar with it. You can enter GitHub repo, like I said, search button, and the graph will be shown here, and then our GitHub page. So that's the quick start. I'll actually show you guys just a quick demo of what it looks like. So if I say Bootstrap, it'll show you a loading animation, and then it's getting all the information right now from GitHub, as well as the Reddit API and then the Hacker News API, and it's all done in parallel, so it should be pretty fast. Yeah, so page 9, page 10, Reddit is done. GitHub is still going. Should be done pretty fast. I think we get about 1,500 GitHub issues. So that GitHub's done. So now there we go. Bootstrap repo. So this graph shows the scatter plot of the sentiment scores that we have. So this is Hacker News scatter plots, and this is the Reddit scatter plots. So obviously positive sentiment scores means better, like happier sentences.
Better user satisfaction.
Yeah, that's what we think. And then in the green line, it shows you the number of GitHub issues, cumulative. So it looks like Bootstrap started tracking their issues around 2012, and then it's just been increasing ever since. Yeah, so that's what the chart looks like, and you can also change what it looks like when the GitHub issues and pull requests. And we also have on hover tooltips, so you can actually see what the text was, which was really cool to see. Yeah. Anyways, so that's how to run it. So we ran our tool on 3 repos: AngularJS, Bootstrap, and Node.js. We chose these because they were actually one of the most popular repositories, and they generate a lot of discussion around Reddit and Hacker News, and it was easy for us to get all the data and analyze. So in these graphs, we'll show that the first hypothesis that user satisfaction is correlated with the number of issues, we'll show that was actually true. So in this graph, you can see that as GitHub issues increase, the overall sentiment, you can actually see that not only the overall score of them increase, but also the frequency of them as well as the project gets popular. I think Angular was actually introduced around 2011 or 2012. And then something happened here, I'm not sure what. And then the number of GitHub issues also increase here very rapidly, and then the frequency of the scatter plots, the number of data points, they are shown to be increasing. So that's the graph of GitHub issues. And then the GitHub pull requests, for the second hypothesis, we found that our visualization methods weren't quite there yet to see what the difference of the scores are and the density of them, because this line between these two are very small, and we can actually conclusively come up with a good affirmation or rejection of our hypothesis. So that's that. Bootstrap, the GitHub issues, we found not much is happening here, but as number of GitHub issues increase, we see that there's an increase in the frequency and the number of data points in the Reddit scatter plots, and as well as I think Hacker News. Similar thing here, the density is just too great for us to actually support or deny our second hypothesis. And Node.js is a little bit more interesting than the other ones. I think what happened was, when it was first introduced, there was a lot of community discussion and hype around it. There's a lot of positive as well as a bit negative feedback from it, from Hacker News. For those who don't know Hacker News, it's a big community of where software developers go and talk about the upcoming technology frameworks and whatnot. So as GitHub issues increase, we see an increase, definitely an increase in the Reddit sentiment scores, as you can see by these ones. So we think our first hypothesis is actually pretty true. One thing to note that we found after we finished our addressability section was that the thing about sentiment scores is that in these forums like Reddit and Hacker News, it's actually pretty hard for someone to get a very high sentiment score without writing a very long paragraph. And then the paragraph has to contain a lot of positive words like breathtaking, incredible, and I think software developers are not, they don't really praise frameworks that highly. So what we interpreted that as, like as the frequency or the number of data points increase, we thought that the community around them, the frameworks, they were developing and the popularity was increasing, but the sentiment was kind of maintained. We saw that as like a good thing for the framework, as in terms of user satisfaction. The user satisfaction is maintained and it's probably increasing as in terms of like a general population wise. Other addressability we saw was that what we do when we actually enter a repo name is that the Reddit API and Hacker News API, they search for any text that contains this word and then returns the body of text. The thing about that is that there might be a huge paragraph where Bootstrap is only mentioned once, and then we analyze the entire text, which is kind of not entirely correct because the other body of text might not even be talking about Bootstrap, but we're still analyzing the sentiment of it. So that could be improved. That, I think that was one of our future works. Another thing was that repo names like Bootstrap, Node, and Angular, they're actually used in other contexts of the English language. Like when we say Angular, we think of it as AngularJS, but physicists might think of, you know, Angular momentum, and we still got those from Reddit and Hacker News, and we analyzed it because we have no way of figuring out the different contexts of the text right now. That was one of our future works. And also the other one was that the bigger paragraphs was they yielded higher or lower, more extreme scores, sentiment scores, because the sentiment scores are additive. So if you have, say, 5 breathtakings, it's 5 times the score of 1 breathtaking. So we need to somehow, I think, normalize the results so they all fit in the same range. That was one of our threats to validity. Other future works include implementing more GitHub statistics other than issues and pull requests, so lines of code, number of committers over time, etc. More text sources such as Quora and Stack Overflow, where developers are likely to hang out as well. But this one's a less of a discussion forum, but it'll still be interesting. Other one was to make the visualization more visually appealing and better, with more methods to visualize, such as like a stacked bar graph, which I think that'd be really interesting. And the big one, of course, like I said, was determining the context of the text and eliminating the ones that are not relevant. So yeah, that was our projects. We actually have it up running on a DigitalOcean server, as you can see here, and looks like jQuery is pretty positive, I would say, and you can see the text. Yeah, I think we're pretty proud of it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Check it out on GitHub. Thank you very much.